It's not my fault you don't like girls.
Our son with a girl?
So he was probably killed by some other queer.
See, Michael? See what happened?
All this that's been going on with Will. I never want you to feel like you have to hide anything from me.
Will's in fairyland now, right? All happy and gay.
What about us? What?
Broken down and hungry for your love, with no way to feed it.
What's wrong? Are you hurting again?
Where are you tonight, child? You know how much I need it.
You never say it.
I say it. I didn't say it. You didn't have to.
Too young to hold on, and too old to just break free and run.
You're destroying everything, and for what? So you can swap spit with some stupid girl? Elle's not stupid. It's not my fault you don't like girls. I'm not trying to be a jerk, okay? But we're not kids anymore. I mean, what did you think, really? That we were never gonna get girlfriends? That we were just gonna sit in my basement all day and play games for the rest of our lives? Yeah. I guess I did. I really did. Will! Will! Will, come on! What if you want to join another party? Not possible.
Looking out the door, I see the rain fall upon the field.
If we're both going crazy, then we'll go crazy together, right? Crazy together.
Parading in a wave
I'm the only one that cares about Will.
as the shoes fill
I
up
just walked up
with
to you
water.
and I asked if you wanted to be my friend, and you said yes. It was the best thing I've ever done.
I don't think you're gonna think it's gross when you fall in love.
I'm not gonna fall in love.
But tonight, you're on my mind.
So I told Byler fans I would do a full rewatch of Stranger Things specifically to look for hints of Mike possibly being gay and having romantic feelings for Will. If you're new here, I'm doing this season by season. I am currently on season 2, and I'm separating all of the different evidence I pick up on into different videos. If you'd like to watch the previous videos, they're on the same playlist as this one, but for this video, I'm focusing on the crazy together scene. Even as a previous Byler skeptic who was erring on the side of Malevolent, which is what prompted this video series, this scene always stood out to me. But now that I'm doing the rewatch, this scene genuinely stands out even more, especially after just having watched this scene from season 1. In case you don't remember, this is when Jonathan has been arrested after the fight he had with Steve, and Nancy is having a conversation with this character, whose name I forget, but I know works in the police station. She tells Nancy, only love makes you that crazy, and that damn stupid. So I had that fresh in my mind during the crazy together scene, and then I remembered this awkward little scene from season 3. Now I have not gotten to season 3 yet in this specific hyper-analytical rewatch I'm currently doing for this series, but it has not been that long since I rewatched season 3 just for fun. This is where Mike is awkwardly trying to tell Eleven that he loves her, but he can't quite get around to saying it, so he says, you know, they do say it makes you crazy. And as an aside, I do believe Mike is being authentic and honest here about his feelings to the best of his current understanding. But back to the crazy together scene. If Byler is going to happen, this fits so perfectly with that narrative. And in long-form storytelling, I particularly love when little details like this fit seamlessly with the end narrative. narrative. I actually have more I picked up on from this scene that I will talk about in another video, but I wanted to talk about these dots I connected in this video. Whether you're a Byler fan, a skeptic, or a Malevolent who hates the idea of Byler, let me know what you think about this. And be on the lookout for another video very, very soon because there's a lot I want to talk about with season 2 before I move on to season 3. There is so much evidence for Byler and Mike's overprotectiveness of Will. And as I've been continuing my rewatch of season 2, I keep seeing it more and more. I briefly talked about this a few videos ago, but after Mike pulls Will from his episode where the Mind Flayer nearly gets him, he won't even let Lucas and Dustin put their hands on Will. I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, nope, I got him. He's coming home with me. Keep on trick-or-treating. I'm bored anyway. When Will has to go to Hawkins' lab, Mike is the only one who seems to be fully in tune with Will's emotions, and he is worried for him. When Will isn't at school, Mike is the only one of the party to go to the Byler's house to check in on him and tell Joyce he knows what's going on, because he's worried and feeling protective. Not only does he sleep next to Will's bed, but when Will wakes up from one of his visions, Mike is locked in. I mean, he's ready to go. He clocks this right away. When Will's worried about the Mind Flayer spying back, Mike's like, nuh-uh, we won't let him, and then holds his hand, which I will talk about in a different video. Sleeping next to him in Hawkins' lab and constantly keeping an eye on him. I mean, it's everywhere. This is all over the season. And you know, before I looked at this as Mike being the leader that we saw him as in season 1. Now I'm seeing it very differently as something far deeper. So many more videos about season 2 before I move on to season 3. Easily the most important piece of Byler evidence I have found so far in this series, but it also might be one of the most important scenes in the entire show. In case it isn't obvious from the images I chose, I'm focusing on the parallels between these two scenes in this video. In full transparency, this might have been easier for me to pick up on because I just made a video analyzing this scene. I guess I'll start off by saying I think these pictures do speak for themselves. Specifically Mike's expressions, which I know is a small detail, but there are so many details I want to talk about from this scene. There is far too much for me to put into one video. When I was critiquing the way Mike was emoting in the scene where Eleven breaks up with him, this is what I was expecting to see. This is what I was looking for, especially when you look into Mike's eyes, and the eyes always tell us everything. This is a face of regret and disbelief. Whereas here we get a face of annoyance. Those eyes are not sad and they are not regretful. I also just cannot get enough of looking at that facial expression. It never gets old. The contrast between the way Mike handles his breakup with Elle versus how he handles the rain fight with Will tells me everything I need to know about him and how he's truly feeling deep down. Again, this is what happens immediately after Eleven breaks up with him. Mike sits in his basement with Lucas and Will, eating chips, burping, laughing about burping, and complaining about how annoying the situation is. I can't help but compare that reaction to the way he reacted after the rain fight with Will, where he desperately searched for Will in the pouring rain so that he could sincerely apologize and repair things with him. Now, as I've done throughout this entire series to maintain fairness and keep an open mind, I've tried to entertain alternate explanations for this, and the only thing I can come up with is Mike being concerned for Will's safety after what happened in season 1 and season 2. But I'd almost immediately counter my own counter argument there with the fact that Mike has no idea the threat of the Upside Down has returned at this point. Outside of the basic threat of Will being outside in a storm, I would argue Mike has no real reason to believe Will is in danger here. I also picked up on a direct one-to-one comparison between these two moments. This is the moment that Eleven breaks up with Mike, and this is the moment the rain fight ends and Will runs away. Here, Mike looks depressed, sad, and defeated, whereas here he just looks annoyed and inconvenienced. I personally think if Mike felt as deeply about Eleven as he does about Will, he would be feeling the same types of feelings in both scenarios and would put the same level of effort into finding Eleven and repairing things with her as he did with Will. Again, I truly believe after doing this rewatch with an open mind that the rain fight and the parallels between it and Mike's breakup with Eleven is the strongest piece of evidence for Byler being canon in the first 3 seasons of the show. And I just wish that fans who dismiss the idea of Byler outright or those who are skeptical of it would rewatch both of these scenes with an open mind. Because it truly is, like fans of Byler have been saying, once you see it, you can't unsee it. More season 3 Byler analysis videos are on the way. I'm trying to balance them with theories based on the new marketing material we're getting for season 5. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm not gay like you.
It's not my fault you don't like girls. It's not my fault you don't like girls.
We're crazy together, right? Crazy together. You said yes. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Several people have asked me about Byler and whether I think they're going to end up together as someone who studied psychology. So here's my take on them. And let me preface this by saying I'm not assuming that Mike is straight because that's heteronormative. I'm specifically looking at how these two behave with each other. The first thing that sticks out to me about them is that they have a very unique level of trust with each other. Notice how Will exclusively confides in Mike about his visions and Mike exclusively confides in Will about his insecurities. They trust each other more than anyone else, and trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. Both Mike and Eleven and Mike and Will fight, but they handle their arguments very differently. Mike tends to deflect a lot and he gaslights Eleven. So he says she's ridiculous, he calls girls a different species. But with Will, Mike won't even let him apologize. He immediately takes accountability. And taking accountability is how healthy couples tend to resolve their issues. That's what makes them so resilient. They also seem to understand each other better than anyone else. For example, Mike doesn't need to tell Will that he's scared of losing Eleven because Will already knows, and Will feels like Mike is the only person who doesn't infantilize him. They also have a lot of shared looks in season 4, which means that they don't need words to communicate. In my opinion, they are the embodiment of show don't tell, which Stranger Things tends to use to distinguish between its healthiest relationships and its most unhealthy ones. All 3 of these are couples that have never had to say they love each other, which sets them apart from these 2. There's also an Easter egg in the show that Mike and Will have a really hard time being apart, and it's that in Eleven's letter to Mike, she tells him that emotions can speed up or slow down time, and of course if you're miserable, time is going to be slow. Mike and Will then proceed to overestimate how long they've been apart 3 times, which tells us this is not a mistake. They're having a really hard time without each other. When it comes to fighting monsters, there's this repeated sense of fighting together, fighting as a team, which is in stark contrast to you're my superhero and you need to fight. And then we have this scene, which I cannot overemphasize the importance of. Remember, Mike is a leader at heart. His love language is to protect people, which is why as Eleven becomes increasingly independent in season 4, he becomes lost. And this is when Will reminds Mike that he needs him and he always will, meaning that their arcs are converging and Mike's and Elle's arcs are diverging, which is a direct setup for season 5. Remember, these 2 are paired up together. They said that they're going to fight Vecna together. As Will becomes increasingly in danger, Mike is going to resume his protective stance over him, which is going to reignite in him a sense of self-worth, which will bring back leader Mike, and I think that their relationship is going to evolve into something romantic. I do think Byler is endgame, and I don't think the show is particularly subtle about it.
Joey, I care about you so much.
I care for you so much.
You've been such a good friend of me, which is why I can't stand the thought of losing you.
You're scared of losing her.
Care. But you don't love me anymore.
I guess... I don't know.
I guess I wanted to say that
I missed it.
yeah.
Thank you for being you.
Not possible.
Thanks, by the way. Cool.
Sometimes you feel like if she was mean to you or she... Yeah?
Hi everyone, welcome to the introduction of Byler color coding in Stranger Things. First off, what is color coding? So color coding is basically when you assign a color to something to help identify it. In the case of visual media, like Stranger Things, it's more of like a color palette of what a character usually is represented by or wears a lot. Let's start off with Will Byers. So his primary color is yellow and his secondary color is red. In later seasons, we see some shades of brown also introduced. For Mike Wheeler, his color palette is primary blue with gray secondary, and of course he also has bits of white and black, especially in later seasons. These are not only represented in the wardrobe, but also in their environments. So Mike's room is blue, and Will's room is yellow in every single season. The reason these colors are significant is because Mike and Will are always tied by them, whether that be wearing each other's colors in moments that are meaningful to them, projecting their feelings, or what they're pushing away from in those colors, protecting themselves in the other's color. When you see the color green, this is a combination of blue and yellow, and it's their unity color. It's also used in extremely important moments. You'll also see color coding used for lighting. Here's an example from the Wrinklemania scene I just did recently. And you'll notice here on the top, when Will is looking at Mike, he has more yellow on his face, and when Mike is looking at Will here on the bottom, he's more in blue. They're seeing each other through each other's vision, basically. When they move their heads in sync, you'll notice that their face is equally blue and yellow for the first time in the scene. It's really beautiful. Later on in the scene, you'll see Mike running from 2 yellow lights to his blue, and 2 blue lights on Will's side to yellow. Just interesting. This was moments after they were arguing, so you could argue that this is visually representing them running away from their feelings from each other. And that's it. That's Byler color coding. I'm gonna make this a playlist, so I'll go more in depth on certain scenes, certain seasons, and of course the whole blue meets yellow in the West thing. I hope for those of you new to the Byler fandom, this helped you a little bit figure out what the heck we were talking about. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
This is insane. This is insane.
When blue and yellow meet in the West. When blue meets yellow in the West.
I'm yellow, he was blue. It's nothing that he could hide. We made a green meadow whenever we would collide.
I knew that door had a lock on it! And everybody was trying to make me feel like I was losing my mind! Dad, stop it! Hold still! I gotta guard the house in case someone tries to cheat.
Chilled in the kitchen in a city tune. The light would flicker like a violent wound. The night was thicker than a smoky fume, and my eyes awaited in gloom. Benny loved her like he loved no one. The way she laughed and hold a smoking gun. The way she always said what's done is done, and he is not the only one. Love is a gentle thing. Yours is thicker than a velvet ring. Yours is thicker than a velvet ring.
What'd you say about her hair?
Her head shaved. She doesn't even look like a girl.
No, let's forget about the haircut. He's getting a buzz cut. Could it be Lonnie's kid? Could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
just a
What did you
silly
think, really?
phase.